The Times has got this. Jason Katsaris today has got this terrific 7 questions SA Health couldn't answer.
It's amazing, this story.
This is a really, really good story, and it actually ties in with our Breaking at 8 today. In fact, it's kind of identical to it. But
here's question number 1. What will the application process for crossing borders be from November 23? How will it work at the border? Well, no, don't know. If a double vaccinated person contracts COVID, will they have to quarantine for 14 days? If a positive case arises in a public or private setting, who will be considered a close contact? How will police or border authorities know which local government area a person has been in? How will I identify if I'm double vaccinated? If a COVID positive person enters a business and the staff are all vaccinated, will they have to quarantine? And if a business requires visitors to be double vaxxed, how will that be policed?
hugely important and totally unanswered questions.
I hosted the AHA awards dinner last Tuesday night, and everyone there was asking those questions pertaining to the hotels industry. And they were saying, you know, great that things are slowly returning to normal, though they would like to see it all be a little bit quicker. But what does it actually mean for us in practice as people that run a business if you turn up and, okay, well, borders are open, we're going to get COVID's coming in, we get one at our business. Are we as good as shut? Because that's no different to being in a lockdown for us on a case. What if we have one staff member? Does that mean every other staff member can't turn up for 2 weeks? These are all fundamental questions about doing business, about the viability of your business model. None of them know the answer.
We know that, for instance, 2 cases bob up in Broken Hill and they shut the border and people have got 5-hour drives back with absolutely no notice. It's a ridiculous situation. And that's in an entire city. Now, what is magically going to change in the mindset of SA Health on November 23? And that's the question. And we have seen, and I have to say, this is one of Marshall's superpowers, to just move the goalposts. So we were going to, remember, we hit it out of the ballpark. November 23 is sort of, let's not call it Freedom Day, and we're going to have 80% double vaccinated by November 23. Well, that's not far off, and we may struggle to get to 80%. I hope we get to 80% double vaccinated by then, and they've got their modelling. And then we were told that the other restrictions should be gone by Christmas, so that's December 25, last time I looked, when we get to 90% double vax. Now, 90% is a very high bar. He then, like about a week later, said, oh, well, you know, we'll expect to get to 90% by, or maybe, you know, if not by Christmas, maybe in January. Sometime I think, well, what is it? You know, is it going to be before Christmas? Is that what your modelling shows? Or is your modelling now showing that it's going to be in January? And when in January? Is it one of those, January, February things, when we can get away without having to wear masks?
See, does Stephen Marshall move the goal? Does Stephen Marshall move the goalposts, as you said, Matt, or does he just let other people move them for him? Because my reading of this is that the police commissioner has been the valiant meat in the sandwich, with SA Health on one side of the ledger being extremely paranoid, and at the same time, the commissioner will be aware of the huge clamour in the business community, because what Grant Stevens is trying to do is juggle the risk-reward, health-based advice against the backdrop of, at what point do people just say, stuff this for a joke? That's pretty much his role. Community buy-in. It feels to me that both sides of politics in this state have exited the leadership space. Yeah. Why doesn't the Premier... I mean, these are his people. He is the leader of the so-called party of business. Has the Premier... Is his relationship now so toxic with everybody from the AHA to the master builders to the civil contractors? And the only business group in the state that he still seems to be able to talk to is run by his ex-staffer Daniel Gannett and the Property Council. He should really, as a leader, call all of these people in and have a business summit and say, guys, you're the engine room of the economy. What are your questions? We're going to get to the bottom of this. And SA Health, who are historically charged with gastro outbreaks, dodgy banh mi's and stuff like that, this is sort of like logistics, supply chain type stuff. Maybe they actually need different people with different skills sitting down in SA Health reconfigure the public service. I mean, we are in the midst of a pandemic, so, you know, a bit of blue sky thinking, as they say, in cliche land might be called for. Show some bloody leadership, because there's none at the moment.
Well, I do think there's a leadership vacuum, and it is a vacuum on both sides of politics, because Peter Malinowski's strategy is, this is hands off, really.
On the COVID stuff,
the COVID stuff, it's hands off.
Yeah. Well, no one wants to look like they're going to war with Nicola.
Well, maybe someone does need to go to war with Nicola. I mean, that image of Nicola Spurrier at the school being high-fived and selfies and everything during the week, I looked at that and thought, you're a public servant, and I don't know. That to me, somebody, Tom Richardson tweeted, "Oh, this looks like an election campaign." Well, it does, and she shouldn't be in it. Yeah,
who's running for 4 more years? Is it Grant and Nicola, or is it the Premier and the alternative Premier?
And we know SA Health's agenda. SA Health's agenda is permanent COVID check-ins, because Nicola has floated that. Now, she's floated that publicly. If she's having thought bubbles about that publicly, privately, you can imagine what's going on. And they don't want to let go of masks in low risk, even in low risk settings. Now, I may be alone in this, but you're wearing triple layer of fabric over your mouth and nose in a situation where we have 0 cases on a 32-degree day. It really does make you sick. Let's get into February if we're still wearing masks, if we haven't got to the magical 90%, and it's 42-degree day. You're already seeing people with them halfway down their faces.
Compliance has dropped away significantly recently.
Look,
and you blame people?
Yeah, but
like, honestly?
The mask part of it is, I'd file that under the annoying category.
I'd file it under obsessive, though, really.
Yeah.
But
the big crushing question, the huge question that has the capacity to kill business stone dead in this state is what happens when there's a case.
Yes.
What happens when there's a case at my distribution centre? What happens when there's a case at my supermarket? Like, what would Roger Drake be thinking? Hang on a minute. The lead up to Christmas, so post-November 23...
Do you have to shut the whole... Well, he doesn't know what to think.
When the shop's full of panettones and, the hams are in and, the...
Who eats a panettone? Yeah. Anyway.
They make really good bread and butter pudding.
Yeah, I know.
There's an element of this that is,
right.
is business related that isn't just about the economics too. There's surely a public health concern whereby a lot of the people that work in these places are exposed to casual workers. Now, if casual workers we're getting up to the point of having near 80% of people vaccinated, they're going to pay every one of their friends and family vaccinated. You think they're going to be in a rush to go out and get a COVID test and miss 2 weeks of work suddenly if they've got the sniffles? Once the borders reopen, that's surely that's a byproduct of a business situation, but that's a public health concern.
It is, and there has to be a dividend to being double vaccinated.
Surely,
because it is compulsory now in the police force. We're seeing that in the army. We're seeing that in SA Health,
SA Water,
and there are quite a lot of refuseniks in the ranks. Because I think a surprising number. I know SA Health's got a big workforce, but 400. Not getting, compulsorily vaxxed is a lot to take out of your system, and 200 to 300 cops, that's a lot to take out of the system.